These came about because my wife asked me for something to brighten up the table a bit at a Christmas fair she did last year. So I made a few of these little Christmas tree decorations, and she tied a little bit of ribbon in the top and hung them around the place and used these little trees as table decorations. And people absolutely loved them. They loved them that much, they bought them and they weren't even for sale. So she asked me if I could make some more. I made a batch of these and a batch of these, about 130 of them. They all sold, and about 20 or 30 trees, they all sold as well. People absolutely loved them. And I thought you might like to try making them as well. It's super easy, but I'll put all the files and all the links you need down in the description. You're going to need some laser ply. I'll put a link to that down below. You're going to need some paint and some super glue, and you're going to need a laser. I'm going to be showing you how to do it using the xTool software and the xTool laser, but you can do it on any laser that you've got. Super easy, bit of fun, make a bit of cash for Christmas. So let's get to it. So take your sheet of ply, which is supplied as mentioned at 600 by 400, and the first thing we're going to do is make a mark 470mm from one end, and then we're going to cut that off. These sizes are really important because they're the sizes that I've used to get maximum usage out, minimum wastage. Incidentally, these Jesson rulers are superb. These are little anti-slip bars. I'll leave a link to them down below. Brilliant. So just use a knife to cut your ply. It's very soft. And you can get through it really easy. So first cut 470mm, and then second cut 270mm. And that's it, we're off to the laser. So with the project open and loaded into xTool Creative Space, there are 3 tabs down the bottom left hand corner, and the tab names relate to the size of the ply that you've just cut. So the first tab, 470 by 270, the second one will be the 470 by 130, and the third one will be the 400 by 130. So drop the piece of ply that you've just cut into the laser and move the head over so that you can set the focus or the distance. Incidentally, if you're not using the xTool laser, you'll also find all the SVGs for the images in the zip file that you've downloaded. So once the distance is set, you need to mark the processing area. Now spend a bit of time doing this and make sure you get it as bang on as possible, because there's not a lot of room to play with. So you'll see on the screen, I just need to move all the imagery so it's nicely in the middle of my working area. So I'm just going to select everything and use the keys on the keyboard to just move it all over so I'm inside that boundary line. Cool. Everything looks good. Everything's inside of my marked area. So I'm going to choose the layer, and I'm going to make sure I'm set to output, cut, power 75%, speed 15%. Obviously if you're not using the xTool, then you need to set it appropriately. My material is preset to 3mm basswood, but just check it anyway. And that's it, we're good to go. So I'm going to close the lid on the laser, and at this point just make doubly sure you've got your laser vented outside, because this is going to make quite a bit of smoke from the cutting process. Then hit the start button, and when you're ready, press the button on the front of the laser. And this is what you're going to end up with: 6 bases, 6 bottom tree halves, 6 top tree halves, and 4 little packages, presents for each tree. Now, a little bit of assembly. First couple you'll do are going to feel a little bit fiddly, but you'll get used to it pretty quick. Take the bottom tree half, that's the bit with the slot at the top, and slot that into the base. Then holding that in place with one hand, take the top tree half, the one with the star at the top, and slide that down over the center slot, and then get that into the little bottom slots, and then hold that. Take your medium cyano and holding the tree in place, a little squirt. Just give it a couple of secs to run down into the slot, and a little squirt of activator. Leave it go off, and you're cool. And then just go around the bottom with a little squirt, just so it runs down into that slot a little bit. Don't need much. And again, little squirt of activator. Couple of secs to go off and you're good. And the only other thing you want to do is run a little bit down that middle seam, just to give it that extra bit of rigidity. Then a squirt. Now for the little prezzies, you've got to just slot them over that back bit and then bring them in, and they'll slot down. But prior to doing each one, I just put a little drop of cyano at the bottom there where the 2 rebates are going to touch. So a little drop in there. And then slot that in. Turn it up and pop it down into place. And there you have it, one little Christmas tree ready for spraying. So go ahead and assemble the other 5 and then we'll paint them up. So on to the painting. I've made myself up this baby little spray booth. A couple of bits of leftover MDF or sterling board, bit of cardboard at the back. So I'm going to take 2 of my trees. I'm going to do 2 red, 2 silver and 2 gold. You really want to do this in a well ventilated area, and probably pop a mask on as well. Give your tin a good old shake and then give them a squirt. Moving on to the Christmas decks. These are even easier, if you can believe that. Take another sheet of ply and make a mark 300mm from one end, so dead center, and cut the ply in half. So really similar to the Christmas trees we've just done. Open up xTool and load the Christmas Decs projects. In this project we've got two different canvases. On the first canvas we've got Christmas decorations, with the words Merry Christmas written on them. And we've got two layers on this canvas. The black layer should be set to card. So if you click on one of the Christmas decks, you can check that output is selected, cut is selected, and power 100 and speed 15. And if you click on the words Merry Christmas, again it should be set to output. Processing type is engrave, power's on to 30, speed's on 200. So that's canvas number 1. And if you want to do canvas number 2, these are just Christmas decoration shapes. We've got one layer here, and if you click on one of the images, you can check that it's set to output, cut, power 100 and speed 15. On both of the canvases you're going to need to set your diff distance, your focal height for your laser, and with the focal height set you can then mark your work area size, your processing area, and as per with the Christmas trees you need to be as accurate as possible, because I've utilised as much of the workspace as I can. And you might have to move them a little bit, as we did with the Christmas trees, just to make sure they're all inside. Mine are all inside, so I'm going to close the lid, hit process, hit the start button, and press the button on the front, once again making sure I've got my ventilation all set. And it'll be exactly the same process if you want to do the other canvas with just the Christmas shapes on them. And that's it. That's literally all there is to it. 2 bits of ply, a little bit of paint, and maybe 15 minutes of my time. Really super easy, little bit of fun actually, and people love them. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, everything you need will be in the links below. You can download all the files, and there's links there for you to get the spray paint and the Cyano, and if you do, there'll be affiliate links. You'll be helping me out a little bit as well. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Ta-ra.